Cartel enforcement is very important to the business community. Businesses are often affected directly by cartels, and so it's important to the business community that cartels be detected and deterred, and that enforcement of cartels be very vigorous. So for that reason, we think leniency programs are extremely important because they do a better job than any other mechanism in helping to identify cartels. The agencies play a crucial role because they control many of the elements in the cost-benefit analysis that's undertaken by a company that's thinking about applying for leniency. So for example, on the benefit side, it's the agency that controls almost exclusively what the benefit will be. The penalties that normally go along with a cartel violation can be eliminated entirely by the agency. And it's important that they do that for the first-in leniency applicant so that those penalties are eliminated entirely and that they provide certainty for the first-in company that it will get that benefit. So anything that helps to promote certainty is a positive and something that we at BIAC very much encourage agencies to undertake. On the cost side, it's trickier because there are elements of the cost side that are not controlled entirely by the agency. So one example of that is civil redress that's sought by companies against companies who are involved in cartel behavior is something that's often dictated by statute, and the procedures are controlled outside the control of the competition authority. But there are things that a competition authority can do. For example, the competition authority can often promote statutes that help to eliminate or reduce the civil penalties, the civil redress that's available against the first-in leniency applicant, because that's what will promote the cartel to be revealed in the first place. They can also help to protect against the materials that are submitted by the leniency applicant from being exposed in the civil litigation. And that's crucially important because those materials oftentimes, if they're introduced in one court, can be introduced in another court around the world. But another aspect of the cost side that can be controlled to some extent is the cost actually of applying for leniency, of seeking leniency markers, of coordinating multinational investigations. These cartels oftentimes involve multiple jurisdictions, 5 to 10, sometimes 12 or 14 jurisdictions. And the sheer cost of complying with the requirements in all those jurisdictions can be daunting to a company, and it can cause a company, in some cases, to decide not to seek leniency or to decide to seek leniency only in certain jurisdictions. We at BIAC proposed one way of reducing one of those costs. What we proposed is a one-stop shop system for leniency markers. And this would not affect the decision of any jurisdiction on whether to grant leniency or even what the requirements for leniency are. It would simply establish a first-in-time right to obtain a leniency marker. It would work simply by a company filing a marker application, a single application that could apply in multiple jurisdictions, and it would select which jurisdictions it wanted to seek a leniency marker in. And if it was successful, it would have priority as being the first-in leniency marker applicant. It would then have to comply with all of the other requirements of the leniency system in each of those jurisdictions, but it would give it instantaneous knowledge of whether a marker was available instead of having to go and hire counsel in every one of those jurisdictions to go through the process just to figure out whether a leniency marker was available. So it's much like the system that applies in patents, where you get priority date once you file in multiple jurisdictions, but you still, of course, have to prove that your patent is valid and enforceable in those jurisdictions before it can be enforced. So that's our proposal, and we wish the committee and the agencies great luck and great strength in executing on their functions, because leniency applications and cartel enforcement is so crucial to the business community. Thank you.